Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Profile Line Party. And I'm going to bring up my lovely co-host, Danny. Danny, are you
Hey everyone,
excited?
Moana, we're here, marching through, right?
Right? I
Oh
was
my God,
talking to somebody, and they're like, "You're almost done the personal destiny
personal
profiles," and
destiny
I'm like,
profiles. Yep,
"Has it been that long already?
it
Crazy,
has
right?"
been. Yeah, actually flying by. I
Well,
I'm still so amazed that this is even getting done, and I'm just so grateful for every contestant person that comes in.
the game
That's
show
funny.
up.
I know, huh? That's funny. It's a throwback. That comes very grateful. It's an amazing thing. So thank you, everyone.
Yes, if we don't say it enough, right?
Yep.
Like, this is amazing. Oh, we have some a guest joining. Stay Too Curious is saying hello. Hello, nice to have you.
You.
Yeah, amazing. So, without further ado, Danny, do you want to tell everybody what the lovely 3-5 profile is about?
Yeah, this 3-5. So all of everyone here is going to start to be able to share this whole notion of this martyr heretic. Just stick with the keynote for the actual name of it. And what is it really doing out in the world, bumping into things and universalizing that truth in it? And they always bring something new. It's a change to the principle is a thing
Hmm.
because they can't have the thing that's unprincipled for them. And so I can't. Let's read through the things, and we'll go through the. So when we get to the third line, if you notice, they're on the right hand side, going up that spiral staircase because the first line's in the foundation, coming out that door. Second line is looking out the window. They're not even looking out the window half the time. They're just can't even tell anyone's looking in. And that third line is sort of going through its process of spiraling up. So they're different. They're apart, but they're still part of that lower trigram. They're always aware that someone is on the other side because they keep bumping into them. And us first and second line, personality people, we don't know the same thing, because they're always finding the new thing. Um, and then the fifth line is up, literally keeping them away from stuff. So part of them has to bump into the world to where they find out what's going on. And then part of them learns to sort of hold back a little bit until it's actually practical. But it's hard for that fifth line to hold back because when you're in that second story, sort of behind the drapes a little bit, peeking out, that's what the fifth line does. People sort of want to know what you're all about. So no shortage of things to bump into when you're a 3-5 profile. Bam.
I love that transition. So I will explain the core traits. So they are the quintessential experts of all the ups and downs life has to offer. Right?
Mm,
Part of that is the line 3, right? Offering the bumping into of everything. And when they're living out the high frequency of their design, they start embracing the messiness and they see beauty in the also messiness of life. And they're inherently relatable. They are super relatable, and because they're relatable, they're lovable, and they are seen as leaders and change makers, right?
change makers. Yep.
Hmm. And they draw others to live vicariously, right? So when you witness a 3-5 in their magic, right, it inspires others to kind of, also be bigger and bolder and have
That
more fun experiences.
it's that fifth line. It's so attractive to the other, and because it's unconscious, the third line doesn't quite always know that that's what it's doing. So, and that makes it more mysterious in a way.
Right? Amazing. So, do you want to do the learning and
I
authority?
never want to read any of them, but I'm gonna. Learn. It's the size of the fonts and stuff. Anyways, learning and authority. So this is going to be important. Make this larger. It's to gain insight. Frame experiences as wisdom. This is a third line thing, big time. Embracing this fun and at times extraordinary experiences, but even the mundane ones. It's embracing what can be fun in the thing. You guys do that really well, and you're adaptive. That's a big theme. So you can adapt to the various funds. Us other ones and twos were like, we have to adapt to what? You know, navigate through challenges Well, with a light spirit and or a heavy spirit, depending on how badly sometimes they feel they're beat up. This release yourself from the societal pressure and drama. When you're learning this, how this inside of you works, that's one of your biggest friends is to release that for yourself. Um, and you do it by sharing and witnessing and seeing, sharing your journey, the comforts, things that inspire others, especially because you're always inspiring others, and half the time you're not aware of it.
Was that everything? I zoned out
So
for a
that
second.
was the end. Yeah, I was zoned out too. That was the end. Yep.
So, challenges and empowerment, right? So, the balancing of, the desire to get out there and explore, and also leading change, right? So there's the balancing act between the two of them, right?
Mm,
Because they have the line 5, right? They have projections of being a savior. Everybody comes
mhm.
to them thinking, you can fix this, you can help me, and they are projected upon. So they need to learn the discernment for, what things are worthwhile, whether it's a commitment, whether it's a connection or not. And again, I believe it's line 3, right? Bonds made and broken.
They're the most discerning. The 3 and the 5, maybe are the most discerning, aware, knowingly discerning. Yep.
hmm and the line 3 can get pessimistic. So to release that pessimism, right? Because you're here to try and figure out what works and mostly what doesn't work. But so when you keep finding things that don't work, it can lead to pessimism. So to, let that
Can I say a thing about pessimism? So
yes, do
the
tell me.
pessimism is just there as a
Mhm.
chemistry in your body to recognize you'll get this feeling. And just recognize you can't have a feeling without a chemistry in your body allowing it. So you get a feeling and it's pessimistic. As soon as you notice it, you can start to recognize that's a road sign. Maybe I should take it easy on this thing. Maybe I don't need to be pessimistic about it. Maybe I can just surrender and let it go. Maybe I need to bail out, you know, or
Mm,
something, but I'm looking more than I thought. I can now put my pessimism aside for a moment because now I know it's there. I don't have to
mhm.
live it, in other words.
Perfect. And you empower your role by engaging with those who appreciate your discoveries, right?
Yes. Sorry.
I have a 3-5 manifestor friend, and all she does is tell me how things don't work. And before I knew she was a 3-5, I was like, man, why is she always looking for faults and things? But now that I know she's a 3-5, I'm like, oh, you're just
Being
being you.
you. Yeah.
This is what you do. I can
Helpless,
now appreciate you so much more.
helplessness. I love it.
hmm
Mhm.
And you can take the conclusion.
Conclusions, yep. So standing up for these principles is huge. I mean, you are bumping. That's why the anarchist is that third line. This is that projected role that's out in the world. It's a bit of anarchy because they'll tear things down. And then the general is the other projected attitude, which is akin to the saint and the savior and the thing that gets projected on. So standing up for principles will bring new values, and it always brings a new thing. Discovering and sharing these practical solutions. Can't overstate this word practical because that fifth line needs to be practical about the things because it needs to navigate a projection field. Most people don't know you as a 3-5 until they really get to know you, but they think they do. Embracing life as this playful experiment. Well, you guys are naturally good at that. And if I just say, hey, you love embracing life as a playful experiment, here's $10 million, you would run off and embrace life as a playful experience. Okay. So, period. And helplessly, um, inspiring others with your unique journey. It's always unique. All of ours are quite unique, but yours is unique sort of out loud. One bumping into one, the person who brings a heresy. The heresy is something new, by the way. Anything, any alteration to whatever is there, that's a potential heretic. Um, and then fulfill this potential, this balancing exploration with forms of leadership, wherever your leadership is naturally there, and it might not even be there for everyone, but for most 3-5s, it'll show up somewhere. It'll be projected upon you and it'll feel good according to your strategy and authority. You'll be able to feel it. You'll be energized. And that's how this potential comes out. So you'll be able to balance that once you start seeing it.
Amazing. So that is it for our lovely explanation of the 3-5s. I'm sure the 3-5s have
Come on.
so much more to add. So we are going to have them introduce themselves one by one. We're going to start with the order that I see right in front of me. So without further ado, we're going to bring up our 3-5 reflector guest. Come say hello.
Hello, how are you today?
We are so excited for you to be here. You have no idea.
You
Big
sure?
time, Roger. Glad you've been at this a while. I heard you say that 13 years. I'm like, oh, thank dear God, more is better, right?
Absolutely. I love human design. It's a lifestyle for me, and you know, once you get into it, after that first 7 years, you're in.
I'd love to pick brains at some point along the way, and just we all need to get together more, right?
Invite me, ask me, initiate me. I'm a reflector.
Yeah.
You got to come to me.
How cool is that? We're having an awake-aware conversation right now, people. Pay attention.
You were talking about 3-5s, and you said we bump into things. I don't bump into a thing, man.
They bump into you?
I'm a 5th line body, so I move through a space. People project on me the solution, the answer, whatever, and then they come and bump into me.
Right.
So projectors, it's kind of the same way, or maybe even, well, manifestors can do whatever the heck they want.
I was going to say, I was going to bring up our manifestor.
I'm a generator. All my 3-5 generators bump. They are bumpers. They're like
manifestor. Do you have anything to add to that?
Yep. Love it. Thank you, Roger.
I don't know. I actually wasn't paying attention to the conversation. Sorry.
Seems on brand for a manifestor.
I was basically saying that I have to wait to be initiated, this, that. And then I said, but the 3-5 manifestor, they can do whatever the heck they want, whenever they want.
Yeah, I guess.
Unlike some of us known energy types.
Yeah, that is part of my design and something I've been integrating the last couple of years. But should I introduce myself?
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
I mean, Roger was supposed to too, but you can go after Roger, since Ashrit is so raring to go. Initiate us.
Yeah, so hello everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I have been watching the show here and there, and I've been loving it. I did tell my husband to join, so he better come and comment.
Show support.
He's a 4-1 manifesting generator, so I told him to
right. Nice.
Yeah. So my name is Ashrita. I am a 3-5 splenic manifestor, and I'm a certified hypnotist. I work primarily with female entrepreneurs. And I think prior to becoming a hypnotist, long story short, I used to be a personal trainer, but before that I was in the fundraising nonprofit space for a while. And here I am now. So long story short, I think it's very 3-5 for me. I've been through a lot of different jobs. I've been through a lot of different experiences, and, all of them have added up to what I'm doing now. So that's really, really cool to reflect back on that. Because when I was in the moving through things all the time, I was like, what the hell is going on? Why am I always wanting to change jobs every 2 years? I always reach a peak with things, and then I want to move to the next thing and feel challenged. So, so that's a little bit about me. I was born in Nepal. And I just want to quickly share that, I was born in Nepal. I came to the United States when I was 6. And when I first learned about human design, that was in 2018. And it was through a coaching container that I was part of. And I learned that I was a manifestor. And I was so angry about the fact that I learned that I was a manifestor, because my conditioning was actually the complete opposite of what I was
generator.
What I was saying, generator, but also people pleasing, being the nice girl, the yes man, all of those things. And there was a lot of, let's just say, tension and resistance when I was growing up. And even just looking back, I just wish that I had learned about human design earlier. But either way, I just think that's really interesting. When I first learned about human design and how angry I was, so I rejected it for a while. I was like, no. And then I came back to it. I came back to it in 2020, and I was like, all right, well, maybe there's something here. And then
maybe yes.
That's what I started integrating.
That's the perfect analogy for your aura. No.
Okay, maybe yes. Okay, maybe
yeah.
Yes,
My
maybe.
daughter's
maybe.
So I'm very familiar. I can feel it.
So beautiful.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's it.
I was going to say, Roger, do you want to? introduce yourself before I start bringing our other guests up?
Absolutely. I'm Roger. I'm a 3-5 reflector. And as we mentioned, I've been in human design for, I think 13 years is kind of the number. I kind of flip on that. Prior to that, I was into relationship coaching and Jungian archetypes, all those things, and all those rabbit holes. I was into everything. 3-5. Try this out, try that out, try that out. But human design stuck. It was a relief. In contrast to your story, it was like, oh my God, this is why I'm so inconsistent in life. This is why I change all the time. And it was really
The changeling.
body experience. And it took a while to stick. I was pretty cavalier with it for a few years.
Yeah.
But my gosh, give it about 4 years, 5 years in, things started to click, make sense. And from there, I just kind of kept into the community. Now I'm doing coaching. I'm doing guiding. I took LYD from IHDS. I just certified on that. And I might get some more education.
Which one was the OID? May I ask? OID, which one was that?
Live Your Design. I'm a guide.
Oh,
so
LYD. Got
OID. So, but what I really specialize in is reflectors. There's no information about reflectors. And if you have any reflectors in your audience, please, if you need help, you're struggling with that, please come to me. That's what I'm here for.
Now's a good time to, how do people get a hold of both of you because we got to bring the rest of the guests on.
Right. They'll do that again at the end. But yes,
Yeah,
if you
and
want
they'll
to
do it
put
again
that
at
in
the
the
end.
chat, you can.
A quick thing.
I'll
and
drop
we'll,
mine's in the chat because I'll have to leave a little early. So
Okay, so let's bring up our projector guest. I hope
chat,
that
yeah.
she knows that her camera needs to come back on. There we go. Ta-da! Cheyenne! Hello!
Hon, how are you, hon?
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, yeah, I am a 3-5 splenic projector. I think I got into human design a couple years ago, and the first time I read about, my profile, my authority and everything, it was so exact that I was completely unmoved. I was kind of like, yes, and okay, so you just described me perfectly. Like, it didn't not occur to me how much permission
How
it was
stunning that was.
design was
Right.
giving me. Yeah, it was like, and this is okay, and this is how you're supposed to be. I was like, yeah, I could have told you that about me. You just described me perfectly. And then it took a few more times, and then I felt overwhelmed by it because there was just so much information. And then when I came back to it a few times, it kind of started clicking, and I was like, oh, actually, I really like the way that this is celebrating me and really reminding me all the different ways that I am important in all of these flaws, that we're told to kind of see ourselves like through the lens of society. Everyone's supposed to be a generator. So I've really enjoyed kind of chipping away at it. I haven't gone in, for 13 years, or I don't do it professionally. I am a breathwork facilitator. And what I really love about what I do is that I feel like I also help people kind of access their own authentic center of gravity, but through their body, through somatics. And I help a lot of like moms. I help people that are going through breakups. Like, you can use breath work for anything, kind of like how human design can literally be applied to every facet of your life. And that's what I do. And I love it so much. And it's just such an honor.
One day, all these modalities are just going to be out in the world. Everything everyone here does is going to be right out in the world. Everyone here just mentioned a modality, and this stuff is marshaling like the general out into the world, and you guys are going to help that.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So now I see our generator has turned on her camera. So we're going to bring on the lovely Taz.
Taz, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing well. How are you guys?
Great.
So what was the question that I am answering?
Tell us a little bit about
Tell us about yourself.
Oh, okay. Perfect. That's an easy one. My name is Taz. I am a 3-5 generator. I am very new to the whole human design theory, learning as I go. But the more I learn, the more I recognize how much it helps in the decision-making process and understanding yourself. And I definitely am passionate about all of that because aside from being here today, I have a brand called The Hustle Legacy that is all about self-discovery and all about understanding yourself and learning about yourself. So when I was introduced to human design, I knew it had to become something I dive very deep into
I
because
totally went through your Instagram and checked like to almost everything. It was like as we read like about a week ago, right? Or
Yep,
a little less. Yep. So
yeah.
just everyone know, Taz, we just did our first reading ever, essentially, right? Back then. So
Yeah,
this is
and can I
great.
just say, like, that reading was honestly very life-changing in switching up how I think and getting into the experiment and understanding my own intuitions. It's only been a week, and I feel like there's so many more discoveries to come out of that reading about myself because of how much better I've been able to understand what's going on inside of me. And so, yeah, that reading was amazing.
We had stuff. Awesome. And do we have a manifesting generator?
Oh, yes, we do. It is a full house crowd. So give
Full
a
house.
warm
Thank you,
welcome
Taz.
to
Love you.
our MG.
Marie, the manifesting generator. Marie, tell us a little bit about yourself, hon.
Hello, I'm Marie Detmers. I recently opened a business called Align Brand Solutions, which is all about learning how to build a personal brand. I tap into the energetics and the usage of using human design. I'm a strong advocate that you can literally build the brand of your dreams, or get paid to do what you love. You just have to really know who you are and learn how to use the best of who you are to market yourself and really lean into those gifts. And that has been much of my journey of following my heart and coming full circle throughout my career, because like many of you, I've also done a little bit of this, a little bit of that, strayed way far away from what I actually graduated in my college degree, earned a master's 25 years later in branding and marketing and understanding design thinking. But the big piece that was missing for me was human design, really helping people individualize and understand. There's a lot of real quick marketing tactics and cookie cutter, I'll say, ways to market. And a lot of people always want to follow their favorite coach or find this on Facebook process that you can use to market yourself. But the reality is everybody has their own unique way to sell and their own unique way to run a business, and it deals with the energetics of who you are. So I'm all about building a personal brand and figuring out what your strengths are in order to make that happen and get paid to do what you love.
Dude, that rocks. That rocks,
Right.
Marie. Thank you for that.
It's amazing. So, Danny, you and I are going to swap out with our lovely third co-host that's been waiting in the wings to play bingo with all of you. So, I am going to pop both
And
of us
she's
off.
one of you.
And she is joining the 3 5s. So let's do it. So all those lovely questions that you're going to be asked later, that was our amazing 3 5 that composed them. So give her a warm welcome, everyone. And
Thank you, Moni.
Danny and me,
Hello. Oh no, I'm blurry. Today's been definitely a 3-5 day of strange everything going weird and wrong. So my apologies. And I appreciate your understanding, because you guys know the world of everything bumping into you. Because if something can go wrong, it will go wrong, but we'll learn something really good out of it. So very nice to meet you guys. So you guys all ready to play bingo?
Yep.
Yep.
You got your cards? Cool.
Do it.
Awesome. So the first one we have is experts on life.
I got that. Okay.
Yay.
So do we just say it out loud? Is that what we're saying?
No, we just check it off.
You can check it off, and then if you relate to it, you're like, oh my God, I totally relate to that one. Or like, we had something come up last time with the 2 5s, and like all 5 of them like groaned at the same time. So we're just like enjoying seeing reactions, or if you're like, oh my God, I have a great story on that or something, like feel free to share. So The next one we have up is embraces messiness. And like,
How does that work for, actually, I have a question on that. Yeah. For perfectionists, and then like, yeah, how does that work for you?
Yeah. Who's got a good one?
I got some. I have a quadruple or a quintuple Virgo stellium to start with. Okay. So wicked type A, you know, my desk, but I have this whole 3-5 bonds made and broken with the whole concept and idea of cleaning, being a non-sacral person. Sometimes it's messy, and it's a very 3-5 thing. It's like sometimes I'll be all in, clean up my whole plate. Maybe it's the reflector inconsistency. I don't know, but it's really 3-5y with the bonds made and broken with that messy, clean vibe.
No, I feel that too. I feel like actually very recently I've gone through this thing where I've been trying to pressure myself to prioritize cleaning my space as like the number one thing, or else I'm not doing it correctly. And then something just hit me the other day where it's like, you get a little untidy because you're a creative, because sometimes in that untidiness, the creative juices flow better. Yeah. And so I've been trying to, with that whole perfectionist versus like embracing the messiness dichotomy, I've been trying to embrace the messiness over being a perfectionist, because I realize that's where my power is. And it's okay if other people don't see that.
Yeah.
So I'll add to that. I can totally relate to that. I, in fact, actually came up with a so-called persona. I call myself the vital perfectionist because it literally like describes me. I just am like that high standard type of person, but I do it in a way that really supports being an oversatisfaction for life. But I have that drive for and strive for the highest of excellence, but know that, you know, there's pitfalls. You're going to make mistakes. It's not going to be perfect the first time around, but I live by practice makes perfect, right? And so it's really a balance in taking that healthy, like sometimes done is better than perfect kind of attitude, and to just keep moving forward. And you fail fast, you know, also are able to succeed that much faster. When you learn that, hey, this ain't working, take a break, sometimes just going and having some fun and surrendering to the thought process or whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, it just comes to you that much more faster. It's all about having fun along the way and being able to laugh at yourself.
Definitely. I tend to find it as like I learn all the right ways of doing things by bumping into all the ways not to do it. Like I will find the perfect way to do something because I will find every wrong way to not go along the process.
Yeah. It's torture sometimes watching people going in to do something that we know is not going to work. And it's like, you want to say, you know what I mean? You really, if you're not invited or recognized to say something, it's like, oh my God.
Dying. You just got to look away.
Yeah.
Cool. So the next one we have up is relatable and lovable. And after that, we have leads change.
Oh, that's definitely me.
Yeah.
I'm the disruptor. I am always the person who has something to say or questions to ask. I like to say that in any kind of completed project, if you hand it over to me, I will make Swiss cheese out of it, because I'll be like, well, what about this? And what about that? And people either in my career lifetime has either loved me or hated me for it, because I will be like, yeah, but, or why this or why that? My incarnation crosses all around the idea of planning and, you know, family. So I just am naturally able to see the big picture, the big end goal, and I am very detail orientated. So when somebody hands me something, I can analyze it and quickly go, but this, and that, and the other thing. And so sometimes it's a little harsh because I don't know how to sugarcoat it. So I like to think of myself as a disruptor, and some people embrace it and other people shy away from it, but that's okay because not everybody's meant for you.
Yeah. I mean, that's like the fifth line projection thing is like, we're going to be projected on no matter what. Like, that's just as is. So then I've come to find like, okay, what are the projections that people are putting on me? Can I satisfy them or not? Like, if they're the right people with the right projections, like, we magic. But like, if it's the wrong people, it's going to be a weird time, and like learning that discernment.
Yes, very much so.
Did you ever hear about navigating projections? And Ra talks about this, and he talks about 3-5 specifically. When we agree to incorrect projections, it usually costs us money because it's a very third line material plane. And what we have when we accept something in the Maya to do something and we don't deliver, or we either reputation, but it's almost always money is the way he framed it. And I can say that's pretty true for me anyway. It's been an experience over the years for sure. I'm also a Design Sun 45, so I have that as the material cross. So I really noticed that part of it for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say for leading change, that one, I have that one too, and that definitely resonates because I was saying earlier, like every role I've had, I've had to change it because there's always been resistance with changing things or innovating or trying something new. Because so many of at least the people that I've worked with, and this is before, entrepreneurship and my business, I felt like they were very stuck in their old ways of doing things. And so they didn't want to innovate because it just felt so difficult. And for me, I was, this is the only way to go. Like there's no other way to go. And so for me, I knew I had to leave that role or that environment because it was at the same time, it was also like really not allowing me to grow as well and evolve. So yeah, that definitely resonates.
That's a good story.
It is.
The next one we have up is vicarious living, of people living vicariously through us as 3-5s.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just funny how this is like what human design does to me. It's like you'll say a bunch of things and I'm like, oh yeah, like I didn't know that was like a grouping of characteristics that other people had too, and that's like one thing that I love about it so much is I'm like, we all have this together, but like everything that we've said so far, I'm like, yes, I experience all of this.
You want another one? Has anybody here ever just like decided out of the clear blue sky to quit a job and walk out that day and just say, bye, I'm done? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did that for a president job. Yeah. Dropped keys on the desk and walked out. I'll bet every one of you have done something exactly like that.
Yeah, I'm a splenic authority, so once the decision's made, it's like, I'm not going back.
Yeah. I mean, 3-5s, we can be pretty severe sometimes when we cut people out. I mean, exes, gone.
Oh my God.
Just gone. I mean, and it's a vibe. It's a frequency. It's just who we are.
I used to feel really guilty about that, though. Like,
right?
and really feeling like I had to bring people with me and nurture relationships and not really realize like, oh, there's people that are in your life for seasons and it's okay to let them go. And so that was something I've had a really hard time with until I started to really understand my 3-5 profile and like, oh, that's very normal, right? Like it's normal to have all these different friends and groups of friends and like just grow and evolve and like know that it's just a season that I'm going through, that I'm work with these people and I'm connected to these people. So I know for me, that was really difficult for a really long time.
Yeah, no, I could definitely relate to that, especially because you kind of started that by saying like you would feel a little guilty about that. And kind of going off of what Roger said about how us 3-5s can be intense sometimes. It's like I used to feel guilty for being so intense rather than recognizing that they're just not for my intensity anymore. Mm-hmm. And so I like putting it on myself rather than like just understanding that is life. There are seasons and there are times when people will need that energy from you, and it's mutually beneficial. And there are other times when whatever energy they have and whatever energy you have might go against each other. And to learn, again, as you're learning that that's your human design, to recognize that there's nothing wrong with you. You are intense because that is how you are designed to be, and it is exactly who you're supposed to be.
Yeah. Yes. That's it. We are who we are.
So I just want to say something real quick, funny, that I wanted to say after Taz just said that is last year I got married, and I had my best friend who's also a manifestor actually, but she doesn't really follow human design like that. And she was my officiant, and so she did a little speech before about like the couple and myself, and she described me as intense. And I just thought that was so funny. Like when the way she described me, I'm like, oh, that's very much manifestor that she's describing. It has a 3-5 profile and everything. So I thought that was really funny.
I love this. I love hearing all the little like 3-5 minglings and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I relate to everything you're saying. The next one we have is fun and extraordinary.
Yeah.
That's definitely me when it comes to birthday celebrations. I go all out for family birthday celebrations. I want to make sure that they have the absolute best birthday. They get their favorite cake, their favorite dinner, whatever it is that they want to do. They get to choose. I do everything and anything to kind of match that individual's personality and just kind of really celebrate, because I think it's very important for people to be acknowledged and celebrated for who they are and the gifts that they bring into this world. So that's my fun and extraordinary kind of celebration. We do lots of fun things with my 2 children when it comes to their birthday, and my husband too. But
well,
I love that. I feel like I definitely place a very heavy importance on birthdays, and not just mine, like people's birthdays, exactly how you said it, in the sense of like, there's just something about celebrating others and like really helping them acknowledge like you were born today.
Yes.
Like this is your day and you made it a whole other 365.
yes.
Like, and so I completely resonate with that. And I've recognized that like to me, I almost get a little sad when I meet somebody that doesn't care for their birthday. It's like I almost need to make them care
Right,
for their
I know. Well, it's that, experience like in me that just goes, well, come on, let's, we can do this and we can do that. And I can make your birthday a lot of fun. And they just want like a quiet night at home. And I mean, that's everybody's unique choice. But I totally agree with you, because I'm like, I could think of 100 things we could do today.
Right. No, 100% that.
It's a very 3-5 thing to say. We could, knowing all the, and just ready to jump and hey, let's do something. Let's not just sit around here and
100%.
be miserable.
Oh, it's so that I've actually been told recently by somebody, and I should look up her human design type actually to like figure out the pattern there. But I was told how like you can't just sit still. Like you need to do something with your time all the time, and you can't just let it be. And my response to that was like, well, I only have so much time on earth. Why would I just let it be? Like
I gotta bump into
do something with the time.
I feel like the next one is really perfect. It's navigate challenges lightly.
Yeah.
I feel like that's everything what we all just shared.
Pivot on a dime. Like, oh, we're going this way now? Okay. No worries. Let's go.
Oh, this is what we're doing now? Yeah. That's definitely a thing.
That
And the
is
next one we have-
literally my profile. Problem solver. I like constantly solve problems. And when it was me starting a business and trying to figure out a lot of my coaches and everywhere, what to start a business, it's what problem do you solve? What problem do you solve? And I'm like, what you focus on, you create more of. I'm like, let's focus on what solutions do I offer, not this problem solving stuff. Because I just felt like I kept getting more and more problems to solve. And I'm like, I'm tired of problems. I'm like, so I had to flip my mindset a little bit and go, okay, what solutions do I offer? What value do I provide, instead of this like just question of constantly problem solving?
I feel like that also matches with the next one, which is avoid societal drama.
No.
I don't know about that one.
See, this is where my nodes come into play. I have 6 to 36 nodes. If you know your gates,
Oh, me, I have the same ones.
that's friction and conflict. That's my
Yeah.
design nodes, though.
I got
Is
them on
it-
both.
Oh, so
Yeah, I got fifth line on one and then first line on the other. So
and that's constant change in your environment, and it's friction. There's sex in the environment because the channel of mating's there with the 6, open and closed. I'm in the middle of shit shows. In fact, I'm designed to be in the middle of shit shows as a peacemaker. No, I don't avoid societal drama. I can't help but get sucked into it most of the time. But it's correct for me. So
that's a good like clarification, and it's like so neat too when we do this, because it's like we'll see the stuff that we're similar on with the 3-5, and then you see like the manifestors got this stuff and the generators got this stuff, and then you're like, well, what about nodes? So it's like I feel like they're like different lenses and prisms to then like get into our nuances. I love it so much.
well, nodes are like, they're not real things, remember? They're not even real objects. They're like points on a map, so they point. So if you just remember that they provide direction in life, so they're a little bit different.
All right. Share your journey is the next one, which I think we're all very like sharing of all our fun little journeys.
That's the 5.
Yeah, I built a whole brand off of sharing my journey, and it's funny because like
That's what it's about. Personal branding.
Exactly. No, exactly. When you were talking about that, I was like, oh, you and I will get along. But yeah, and it's funny because when I started it though, like I knew it was going to be a brand, but I specifically was talking to people I personally knew so that I can completely change my identity. So I got super personal. I would like share stories about my journey that like definitely had consequences in my personal life, but it's like I did it for the consequences. And that's the interesting part, I feel like, is like I cared more about sharing my journey than about the consequences that would come out of it. And I almost was thrilled by the consequences because it's like I'm forcing you to think different. I'm forcing you to like have a conversation about this and like figure out like why would somebody put all this out there for the world,
That's cool.
That's awesome. I was going to say my business literally has been that's literally how it started. It has evolved into a lot of different iterations at this point. But it literally started because from my own personal experience and me having to go through certain things and realizing, oh, what does not work? And then like creating a path for others. So I started as a personal trainer, and then I got into hypnosis and subconscious reprogramming. And then I moved into natural graduation. It was a natural process to work with entrepreneurs, but it was all based off of my own personal journey and experience. And that literally, I feel like, is what attracts a lot of people to me, is like when I just share my personal journey. I know that Manifestor probably has part to do with it as well. But yeah, that definitely resonates with me, is like the whole sharing of journey. But also I think included in that is like, for me at least, I don't know if other 3-5s feel this way, but when I teach something, I feel like I have to experience it first and to really understand it. Like I can't just read something and like some people understand, but for me, I have to experience it myself. And that's actually one of the reasons why I decided to go into like a bodybuilding competition, because I used to work with them. And I was like, I don't really understand what you're feeling, so let me just try this myself. And then I was able to coach them deeper. But I think that has been definitely a big part of my journey, is like I have to experience it as well.
It's so perfect. The next one is literally balance, exploration, and leadership. It's you.
On my sheet, I'm just saying balance, exploration. Is that a different?
I'm going to say go for it. Or no, okay. I think it's like a separate one, but I think it's like supposed to be twice. So I say just go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
What does that one say? It was
there's two.
Oh, bingo.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
Okay.
You did it.
I did it. Do I read them back off just to make sure?
No, I trust you. It's more for the conversation.
Oh, okay. What do I win? I'm kidding.
We're all winners here.
Of
We
course.
love you here.
It's all a big ruse. We really are just playing this game just so we can see how everyone reacts.
I
You
love
found us out.
that. This was a really good way to start conversation.
Yeah.
I'm glad you all liked it. Yeah, we find it's like a fun way
Love it.
before we go into like the questions, which are gonna be a little bit more like in depth, so we can like just do this to get everyone started and chatty.
I love that.
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. And then Moana, you ready to jump back on?
Whoop whoop. All right. Tag team out. Amazing. So now we are going to bring Danny back on. He is dying to pick your brains.
Picking brains. We want to know. We want to know. So we're going to ask a series of questions. We sort of derived these beforehand. You know, you guys being 3-5s, it might have been a good idea to ask you to what questions would you like to be asked. That might have been an interesting, because up till now, one thing I will notice is as we go through the profiles, now that we've finally left the 1s and the 2s and we're into the first foundational 3, you guys are different. So just make that official. So question number 1, how have you learned? This is just sort of in your life. You guys are going to share your experience amongst yourself. I'll get taken out and you guys will be on your own. How have you learned to accept your trial and error nature to in a way that would appreciate this wealth of experiential wisdom that you end up possessing over time? So how have you learned to accept and or experience your trial and error nature?
This is why like human design just trips me out so much, because before I ever started learning about any of this, like, I mean, I'm 37 now, so it's probably like in my late 20s, I started to realize, I was just like, I think my life philosophy is just to try and have as many experiences as possible. And there's no right or wrong. And it's all just like adding wisdom and just like giving me, you know, just more interesting stories to tell at the end of life, you know, or just, you know, whatever. Like it's like putting me in the path of more opportunities. And so I didn't even realize that that was like a 3-5 characteristic until literally right now. When he dropped in that question, because I'm into human design, but I'm not that deep into it. So I just think that's, again, it's just wild how accurate this is. And yeah, it's just, I've sort of embraced it.
I agree.
As my philosophy. Yeah.
That's a
I
huge
agree.
thing, though. Oh, sorry, please.
Nope, go ahead. Go ahead.
I kind of lost my thought there. This is what happens with open heads, so please go ahead. I'm serious. I forgot what I was going to say.
I was just going, you know, to really say that it's all about your perspective and experience and wisdom and age. As you get older, you become more wiser. And for me, what hit the nail on the head, because I found human design about 2.5 years ago, but I started to really piece the things together in my life, and that there is no such, I mean, to me, it's like, I'll call them blessings in disguise. Long story short is that I've always loved graphics design, and I got a degree in graphics design. I thought I would have my own business, be my own freelancer. Well, graduating college about 20 some years ago, the market became oversaturated and I couldn't find a job. So I was bound and determined to, you know, get a job that was going to pay the bills, right? So I decided, well, the most logical thing is joining and learning about computers, right? Because that's the way of the world. It was the newest technology in the future, right? So I literally, you know, worked a full-time job, and then I went to school every single night. I worked a job on the weekends just to make ends meet, and earned some Microsoft certifications and landed a job in IT. Well, I built my IT career from the ground up, and despite everything career assessment that you could possibly imagine told me the worst possible area I could get into was IT, based upon my skill sets and my background. But what it really taught me was 3 very, very valuable lessons. Getting into IT and leaving the world of graphics design is A, I am not a graphics designer. Despite the fact that I love everything about it, it helped me understand that I'm actually that creative director, if you will, in the graphics design world. And my strengths are in leadership. And it also taught me that I was just this natural born leader, right? And I also learned from that basically, the power of decision making. Because for me, I'll say one day I learned, got a basic job as a help desk technician. And one day, long story short, my manager said, okay, staffing changes, this is being outsourced. You need to train these people. And what do you want to do for a career? Oh, by the way, you're the new IT systems administrator, which meant that I had to support core infrastructure for a company where if it went down, it was going to lose thousands of dollars. And I literally had almost zero credibility. Okay, so you're talking a graphics designer needs to become an IT systems administrator and have a 4-year computer science degree. I didn't know the first thing about it, but what it also taught me is my and determination, and the fact that when you decide something, there is no other option. So I decided there was no applying for other jobs. There's internally, externally. And for me, I mean, you could say it was a huge mistake, but it taught me so many valuable lessons. So human design really opened my eyes through that whole idea of trial and error. You're gonna fail, you're gonna go down the wrong path, but to me, they're just like, these hiccups in your life become kind of road signs of like, oh, well, maybe I was supposed to turn left instead of turn right. And it helps you kind of navigate and learn the lessons that you need to learn and make you stronger to prepare you for the next level, because it's always going to be constant change in life, right? And you have to go with the ups and downs. You don't see people here like constantly laughing, right? We'll laugh about a funny joke, but after about the third or fourth time, it's not funny anymore. So that's really, to me, what it's about. Sorry, long-winded answer.
I was going to say just quickly, so my experience actually with 3-5 and with trial and error has been actually really challenging until I would say recently over the last 4 years. And the reason it was really challenging for me is because of my own social conditioning. And I went to a very prestigious college in the United States. I was around a lot of really smart people. And, when there's really smart people there's also a lot of perfectionism in there. And you want to you want to be perfect as well. And I started to kind of blend into that a little bit. And so, and a lot of things that happened growing up and, my parents not really knowing how to parent a manifestor, I think was a part of it. But I think, for me, most of my life, trial and error was really difficult. And what has really been supportive for me to like work with my design and the trial and error and embracing it is really just understanding that, the trial and error is going to happen. The mistakes are going to happen, but it's really not, it's about not personalizing it, right? I think what I used to do in the past is like any mistake that I made or any kind of error that happened, and I made a lot of mistakes, I would subconsciously personalize it as if it meant something about me as a person. And I really have had to create like a more of an objective perspective around trial and error and making mistakes, especially as an entrepreneur, right, in business for sure. And that has been really, really helpful for me. But so I think it's really about like making sure you're not personalizing it, right? It's really understanding that. And
absolutely.
It's interesting. All of my clients are always talking to me about failure all the time. Like I'm having conversations around failure all the time. And it's just something that I realized like people are always wanting to talk to me about. And so I just think it's really, I just made that connection actually right now, this moment. So, but I did want to share that, like for me, my experience hasn't been always embracing trial and error and mistakes.
I think it's really interesting because I feel like I as you spoke, saw the difference in the 3-5, but the generator versus the manifestor, because I definitely took it personally as well. And I was a perfectionist. Like I related to all that. A perfectionist, conditioned to feel like you can't make mistakes, all of that. But instead of seeing whatever failure as a failure, it's like I didn't see it that way. So I needed everyone else not to see it that way. Like, no, it's not a mistake. I learned from it, but I can't have you see it as a mistake either. And so it's like I personalized it, but I projected the personalization instead of internalizing it. And then kind of going back to something that Cheyenne said earlier, I completely relate to, like, since I was a little kid, I always used to say that, like, who I want to be when I grow up is the type of, like, when I'm old and a grandma, I just want to have a story for everything. Like, if anyone's bringing something up, I have an experience about that. And so I definitely led my life in that way. And as I grew up, I realized the only way you can have so many experiences is to fail through them and to learn from them. And so I think I'm a very big turn your L's into lessons kind of person, but it's like, there was a time in my life where I needed everyone around me to also believe that. Whereas I think as I've become more aware of how I work, I've also become more okay with that's how I work. That doesn't need to be how other people perceive it.
Very beautiful. Thank you.
For me, with mistakes, you know, we talk about how we beat ourselves up when we make mistakes. That's the conditioning we're brought up in, for the most part. You know, it's really a surrendering of having expectations a lot of the time for me. I mean, I'm a reflector. I'm here to live in the present moment as much as I possibly can. The more I'm in the future, attaching to outcomes on things, that's disappointment central just waiting for me ahead, if that makes sense to you guys. So, you know, it's really surrender is what it is. It's just going in, like you ladies have been saying, going into the experience for the experience and having a good time, you know, with it. And that's kind of the 3-5 vibe to me. But dealing with that conditioning early on, I think a lot of threes, when we first come into this, we beat ourselves up so much and we were down on ourselves our whole lives for making mistakes and not getting it right, or not doing as well as Bobby or Sally or whoever the case may be. But, you know, you guys are all awesome 3-5s. I can see it on you. It's awesome to be in the space with you guys.
Agreed.
You're awesome too.
Thank you for that. I will say I just came across this in the last 5 years because my entire childhood was perfectionism. Be like my sister, you know, always comparison. And I lived the martyr heretic role in my family for as long as I can remember. So it took quite a few years for me to really unravel it. And human design was like, oh my Lord, this is why my life is the way it is. And it really started to piece together and make sense and really understand a lot of that conditioning. So it's amazing how far I've come along this journey. But if I didn't find human design, I probably would still be wallowing in like all of this drama that I had going on. But I can totally relate to that.
Awesome. Typing.
Here we go. So next question is coming up. How have you guys learned resiliency in overcoming the pessimism? And the pessimism comes from bumping into life. The pessimism is an internal thing. We already know it's a way to signpost for you, you know, to recognize it is a limited perspective. But how have you learned, and what have you guys done, and have you ever internalized the pessimism?
Have you ever seen the movie Rocky, where he goes, you know, when life knocks you down, you get back up? That is every single third line personality person I've ever met in my life. We have a resiliency that's innate in us. It doesn't matter how big of a crap show we're in, or how terribly wrong things went. Give it a couple of days and we're ready to just jump into the next thing. And I think we're
So
very
true.
I think we're very, very blessed with that. And you know, that's part of the magic of being a 3. I mean, everybody looks at us and says, oh, look what they're going to do again. You know, the 6s and the 4s, and, you know, looking. Yeah, well, we're the ones that get crap done. So, you know, and that's the fun part about us. It's just like that vibe. You cannot kill a third line.
I agree with you, and it's really kind of funny because you know, I had 2 really good role models in my life. My father had always taught me where there's a will, there's a way, which is what really ignited my gift of determination. That's my sun gate. whether I didn't know it obviously as a child, but I was always bound to determine that, there's got to be something better out there, or there's a way to resolve this. And my grandmother, she survived World War II. She, after World War II, came here to the United States, and why I'm blessed to live in this country. Because like she gave up everything, her family, and just moved here. She didn't know a lick of English. She didn't understand any of the ways, had to get a job, had to figure out how everything worked here in the US. And so to me, that was always my fallback when things got really bad. I would just be like, hey, my grandmother came here literally with nothing, not knowing a single soul, and she managed to navigate her way and create a better life for herself. She has an extraordinary story all around some of the heartaches that she had to go through and things just to survive. So I'm like, I take a look at it and I'm like, my life isn't all that bad. So for me, that's really where I get a lot of my motivation, determination, is I'm reminded there's always a way of things. At the end of the day, if you try it, what's the worst that can really happen? I mean, you fail, then you just find a different way to do it. Or I don't know. I mean, it's not most likely you're going to die. If reminds me a little bit of the story Green Eggs and Ham, right? You don't know what you're missing until you try it. You don't know what experience you're not going to have as a result. So I kind of just take it with a grain of salt in life.
Yeah, I think for me, I've actually kind of outgrown pessimism in a way. Like, I think when I was in my 20s more, I think I used pessimism as like a defense mechanism or as like a self-preservation tactic, like trying to anticipate something, maybe trying to expect the worst, as a way to like not be disappointed or something. And I've just sort of released that. In my older years, I don't really find that there's like a usefulness in being pessimistic because it hasn't happened yet, and I won't know what's going to happen until I bump into it. So like full steam ahead, let's go into it. Let's bump into life. I don't think that the point of life is to like go through it being completely unscathed. Like my personal philosophy is like, I want to have as many experiences as possible. I want to have like scars, by the end of it, because like, that's just what I'm here for. It's for the richness. And so like learning resiliency, I guess it was just through having a lot of experiences and seeing that like the pessimism kind of was pointless, and that like actually the more experiences I have, the happier I am, the more interesting I feel, the more things I have to talk about. So yeah, I guess it was just through the experience that I learned to kind of release that and just embrace it.
It's funny that you say that, Cheyenne, because I feel like I am in my 20s working through releasing the pessimism, and I can like actually see it. It's like sometimes I'll see myself like fall back into like just putting a wall up and feeling like, what's the point when all there is ahead is like pain and this and that, like you can't avoid it. But then like I see the other side of me fighting against that, like, so what? You're gonna live the rest of your life pessimistic about everything and just not live? Like, wouldn't you rather like work through that, turn that pain into something powerful and continue having those experiences? So it's funny, as you were speaking, it's like I can literally see myself in that phase of life.
It's good.
Yeah, let me tell you, I'm 54.
Mhm.
I'm gonna be 55 soon. I said this in the chat, 3-5s, we age like wine. It's because of the experiences we pick up along the way. And then as we get older, it's like this natural thing that just occurs. People start looking to us because we're a fifth line body. They're projecting all over us. You've got the answers. You've got this. You've got that. It just comes out and it evolves that way. So that's the best part of being a 3 when we're young. We get into so much stuff. I wanted to use another word.
Mischief.
Yeah, I don't know if we're censored on here or not, so I wanted to be careful. I even named my not self. This is funny, and I wanted to add it. I grew up in Boston. My not self, I call him the townie when he comes out.
Oh my God, I love that. I need to name my not self.
Yeah.
I feel like I've named my like best version of myself, but I need to name my not self as well.
And if you put the two together, you will come up with a fabulous story. That's how I came up with the Vital Perfectionist.
Oh, I love
because
that.
literally I am dynamic, vitality. I've got these I took a look at my human design and all of my gifts, and I took a look at some of my shadows. And the biggest thing I struggled through life is perfectionism, right? Because that's what I grew up with. And I was like, what's a vital perfectionist? I was mind blown, literally mind blown of how well it describes my personality. And I was like, this is my personal brand story. Amen. Done.
Love that. I love that.
That's very cool.
This is amazing, guys. All good answers. I thought I heard you say a 6 gate, Roger. You had so you're the
I have
peacemaker.
3 of those. I have a 666 hanging in my chart.
Is one of them in the 6th line? Because that's my line on my 6 gate.
No. I'm not. I'm mostly on the 2nd line and the 5th line, actually, in most of my chart.
You had said the peacemaker, and that's the name of the 6th line. I just made a. Anyhow, so guys, dude, I can't believe what you guys are sharing. This stuff is amazing. It's gonna play well, and you know what? This episode is gonna age like fine wine. Just like you said, it's gonna age well. I'm sure of it.
How can it not?
So when you here's the thing. So this would be something that is gonna be deep in you. So or not. When you hear bonds made and broken, that it can be tight relationships, friends, business, but very much intimacy, boyfriends, girlfriends type thing. Bonds made and broken. What are you really hearing? Like, what does that mean to you when you've seen this and you start to experience that, yeah, this is a part of something, or just if you're hearing it for the first time, what does it mean to you? And that's...
I have to go on this. I have so much to say about this.
Please.
This reminds me of every archived like friendship, relationship I've ever, and I have a lot, and it's not like, we have falling outs, but then, and sometimes they end on like bad notes. Not all of mine have ended on like a F you, kind of like an angry note. It's just like, we're complete. Like, we've outgrown each other. We've been kind of like aligning more and more with our true authenticity. We've been growing in separate directions, and we're just at a point where we have like nothing in common anymore. Like, literally, I had a best friend from 2nd grade until I was 3 years old. And then we parted ways, and I thought she was going to be a friend of mine for the rest of my life. I was like, what could possibly happen at 33 that like hasn't already happened? Well, more growing, more maturing, and we ended up parting ways. Yeah. And like, when I think back onto her, I still have so many fond memories, but I'm like, I just have absolutely nothing to say to her anymore. And it's like, and then I think someone else mentioned earlier, like with breakups, I have absolutely no problem just being like, oh, you like passed, a boundary. You didn't respect, one of my red flags or whatever it is. And it's like, we're done. You're blocked on everything. I will never speak to you again. You are dead to me. Like, it is so clean. And so, yeah, when I heard that, I was like, oh, again, more things that are coming up in human design that I was like, I didn't know that was a 3-5 thing, but I'm like,
there's a positive reflection to that too. And I wonder if you ladies relate to this. I have friends that I haven't talked to in 7-8 years, but I could pick up the phone and be on terms with them like that. And a lot of the people that are very close to me in my life, I have that cyclical relationship with them that somehow bonds made, bonds broken. But then the real ones, we tend to go back to them, is my personal experience as I've gone through this trip as a 3-5.
Actually, as you mentioned that, I'm recognizing that like that very much is prevalent in my life. Of there are people that I thought were in the past, and it was a fond relationship. It helped me develop in the ways it does, but I thought it was meant to live there. And literally the cycle that I'm in now, I'm recognizing a lot of the people from the past are coming back, and like it's a completely new reason they're here. It's a completely new dynamic. It's a completely new lesson.
And that opens you up. It's like, oh my gosh. And I have this, some people would think I was manic with some of this stuff. I played guitar for decades, but I like to play for like 3 months, and then I'll put that thing down and I won't touch it for 6 months. And then all of a sudden one day I'll pick it back up, whether it's an art brush or an activity or a hobby, we make and break bonds with everything as 3/5s in my personal experience. And but the biggest thing for me is in relationships, I need to break the bond. I can't do 24/7, 365 with the hi honey, I miss you. It's like, no, I need time to break the bond as a 3/5. It's like it crushes me. I don't know if you guys relate to that.
Yeah, like almost like a suffocation. Like I need the space. And it's exactly that. It's like I need to break it, or like it's like the idea of the consistency makes me go crazy. Like I don't want the consistency. I want it to be up and down. Like maybe we're not going to see each other or speak to each other for a minute, and then maybe we will later. Like I like not knowing. The idea of the safety of a committed relationship.
Separation builds attraction to me. You know what I mean? So you gotta have time apart to build the attraction, or else it's like the sameness. It's like having the same sandwich every day.
It's like it's less of a relationship and becomes more of just like going through the motions, and that's what I'm scared of. Like I'd rather stay in the phase where there's something to work on, because I don't want to get complacent. And once I feel the complacency, I just want to break the bond. Like I don't want to be there anymore.
I can see that, and I've definitely had those. Outgrew people. That I think that happens with all of us in the work. It's a natural outcome. Nothing like relationships. I've always said relationships are like rocket fuel for personal growth work. I mean, especially ending relationships. I mean, had a few of those. So, bonds made and broken.
Guys, you covered it. Absolutely. And by now you've also recognized that made and broken. I mean, you all spoke to that and so forth. And I would submit that in our 9-centered communal forms that they're all meant to be made and broken, but almost it's pretty rare that they're meant to be broken fully, like Fine, we are done. Sometimes yes, but when I tell a third line that, it's often they get to soften up that break. It seems like in the beginning when you're not sure, the breaking is like, this is broken, final. And it didn't need to be, it needed to be just broken. And so there's a toning down of the intensity of it all when we don't know, So next question up. All of these are how have you experienced? I'm so glad you guys are just talking. How have you experienced this universalizing these practical heresies by challenging what does not work? So just universalizing, just how have you experienced the fact that you're put out the thing that becomes potentially heretical? And I can only imagine you guys see that, hey, I'm about to challenge something here. I mean, you're the determined discoverer. You're the challenger, just like Roger's saying, it's a beautiful, exalted place. But how have you experienced the fact when you're bringing something new, what we would call practical heresies, by challenging what does not work? Because that's what you end up doing, is some kind of challenge to whatever the foundation is over there. So how have you experienced all that?
I have to say, I think through all of my experiences, I am busting loose the whole limiting belief that you cannot create money and run a business doing what you love. For me, that has been one of the biggest things, because I've had such a love for art, for photography, for graphics design, for all of these things. But I've always been told, well, there's no money in art. There's no money in graphics design. And a lot of people that I talk to, if you ask them, when they're looking for their purpose, you say, well, what is it that you really love to do? They'll go on and tell you all these things that are their hobbies that they absolutely love to do. And there always is the caveat, but there's no money to be made doing that, or I can't make a living off of that. So that's just a hobby. And part of my mission, building a personal brand, is really to take that human design and figure out how we can take those strengths and take those core elements of who you are and create that business that you like, create that idea of what you love, and learn how to make some money doing it. So I feel like for me, I'm kind of challenging that, and especially I'm seeing that a lot in the marketplace is where personal branding is like the hot topic, if you will, the next best thing. And you're seeing a lot of these corporate brands that are really trying to be more personalized, and you see individual businesses and people trying to be more, do the thing that brands are doing, right? Because they say, oh, well, this big corporation, you know, did X, and so I need to do that, right? To be viral, to be on trend, to catch up with what this brand is doing. But it's actually the exact opposite. And the big difference between a corporate brand and a personal brand is really that relatableness, because when people understand and know, like, and trust you, then that's when they're likely to buy from you. And that's what personal branding is really all about. And I love the idea of taking a look at people's human design and looking at some of their purpose and really dovetailing the two together, because we all have a unique way to ask for things, to sell people on stuff, and to express who we are. And that's what attracts people to us, that allows us to make money doing what we love. So,
Cheyenne, I think you're muted.
Thank you. I muted because I didn't want there to be background noise. But Marie, I love what you just like kind of spoke to, how you kind of said the thing that is kind of that calls you into highlighting about like what does not work. Like for you, it's about like making people feel comfortable about, you know, actually going after what they love to do and then finding like financial fulfillment in that. For me, I think the thing that does not work, that is on my heart as like a 3-5 to universalize, is how there's this kind of like, we have a very narrow sort of margin for what is considered like normal. And then so many people fall outside of that, like being otherized, just being told like you're not normal. Even us as like,
right,
or whatever, it's like if you're not a generator, then it's like you're, you know, it's like everyone has been otherized. And so I think for me, in my experience, it's like as just, you know, kind of inherently, you know, it's not necessarily a conscious thing that I've been like, this is my mission. But in the spaces that I go in, the way that I just accept people and just like kind of normalize like the other, or it can either really, really trigger people and they have a really strong reaction to it where they're like, what are you talking about? That's weird. That's not normal. And I'm like, no, like I'm not subscribing to that. Or I notice some people, because I come in so flat, like they might express something about themselves that like usually might be criticized or seen as other, but I just accept it so much that they're just like, oh my God, like that was so comfortable. And then it like just, it enables this spirit of like more and more just vulnerability, people opening up and just being very like accepting of themselves. And I've been told
exactly,
where they're like, you are so accepting of yourself and all your quirks and idiosyncrasies that then I feel very comfortable, you know, like divulging those things to you too. And so I've noticed those two extremes where on the one hand, people are like, absolutely not. And on the other hand, people are like, oh yeah. And they're really into it. So.
Yeah.
Video stays on for a minute. I'm sorry. I want to talk for a second.
You got it.
The fifth line is an interesting thing, and there were two keywords that were in the question. It was universalizing and practical. And that's the thing we have to remember as 3-5s, and this is where we can get burned at the stake. If whatever we're universalizing, saying, sharing with the collective or with the tribe is not practical, meaning easily digestible and understandable or usable by whoever's receiving it, we're going to get burned at the stake for it. If it's complicated, if it's not worked out, or if it doesn't work. So there's a mechanic at play with projections. And sometimes I think, you know, when we're 3-5s, we can struggle seeing how people are putting expectations on us to deliver things. So, you know, it really pays to be very practical with awareness on practicality. Above all else, all things need to be practical. So when I hear those two words together, that's what I remember about universalizing things. Always be practical and think of your audience and how it's going to land on them, whatever it may be. So
the KISS method. Keep it simple.
Yeah. I mean, I was VP. I got all those in my back pocket for sure. What's the other one? Poor performance, the 6 Ps or something like that. Yeah, I remember all those ones. But Taz, please go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you, love.
No,
I'm sorry.
you're fine. But I just wanted to piggyback off of what everyone was saying, and like I feel like what I feel driven and passionate about challenging with the personal brand that I am building, Marie, is kind of challenging this idea of group thinking. I feel like I just recognize that a lot of people just decided that like it should be whatever it is, it should be a certain way because you're told it should be a certain way. And so a lot of the content that I put out, the articles that I write, basically just challenges like typical schools of thought. So for example, one of the articles that I posted sometime last year, I think, was called "What's So Wrong with Being a Hoe?" And it was all about like female sexuality and giving women the right to choose what they want to do in their sexual journeys. But the whole point was like me telling my story and saying your story doesn't need to look the same. And I feel like one thing that I've felt with influencer culture and personal branding is like a lot of the content is still somebody sitting there telling you, if you want X, then do Y. And I'm trying to challenge that whole formula. Like, I don't know what your why is. Like, if you want X, look within. And here's just what I've been doing to look within, and maybe something will inspire you. Here's some books, here's some knowledge, here's some experiences that can help you on your journey. But I think my whole thing is just challenging this idea of someone else is going to give you the answer. You need to figure out the answer. So, yeah.
Shiny object syndrome. Yes. I think as a 3-5, I fell, victim to that 1,000,001 times of just always seeking knowledge and answers until that was another aha moment for me is I literally through just a deep meditation, and that's where my tagline came in, create the experience, because I am not a researcher. Most of us in school are taught reading and writing, arithmetic, basic things, but we're all taught as a researcher, right? You have to back up your claims, and prove everything and do all of this.
They tried to make us into lines, is what they did.
Well, right, but I'm not a one line. I'm not a researcher. Not to say that that isn't important. I research enough to go, oh, yeah, I've got enough information to try out and figure what this means, right? And go with it. But I am not I've got to know all the bells and whistles. To me, it's like driving a car, right? You have to kind of know the mechanics, where the wipers are to turn signals, the basics. But you do not necessarily have to know all of how the engine works and all the different hoses and plugs and things that are all connected in order to drive the car.
That's the beauty of human design.
Is it me, or is there like two frozen people?
It's just practical. That's the
Okay.
right there.
Yeah, I'm like, there you go. Roger, can everyone else see Marie moving?
No, her video's locked up.
She's frozen.
Okay, good to know. I'm going to
Sorry.
boot you, Marie, until you're working again. But Roger, you're moving again, so that's great. Ta-da! Okay, that comes to the end of the questions. Are we ready to have some fun?
Ready.
Okay, so, Marie's coming back on? Not quite. All right, so I completely had a giant brain fart. I forgot to sound check this, so we're going to do this live with everybody watching. So hopefully I'm not going to deafen you with the sound, so we're going to try it out. Do. Okay, got it. Now, how's the sound coming in for both of you? Too loud, not loud enough?
It's a little quiet.
Okay, let's go to the settings. How is this?
Like the music?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. We can hear it, I think.
Okay, it's okay on your end, Roger?
I think I can hear it. Yeah, it's just like the background music before the game starts.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So now what I'm going to do, Taz is back on, is I will instruct you what to do next. So on your phones, you're going to go to
And
your
this is Max.
whatever
He's
browser
in
you
charge of our
use and
couples
go to
department. What does that entail? He's in
jackbox.tv.
charge of listening in on thousands of couples. Wow. Any good dating advice?
And then
Love is a
once you're
sham, and we
in,
all
you
die
should see a
alone.
little area to
So that's
input the
Max.
code. This is the
Let me
code
introduce you
right
to literally
here.
anybody else.
Wait, are you guys hearing things in the
Okay,
I'm
yeah,
hearing
you hear that too? I wasn't sure if that was like.
Yeah, there's some dude talking in the game. That's
Okay.
Yeah, that's part of the game.
Okay, so jackbox.tv.
Okay, in turn,
Yes.
let me just set up your camera monitoring system.
So that's
Here
the
we go.
room code, and then
Yes.
my name.
Nice. I'll be doing surveillance for a water
And then
park.
you pick a little
Awesome.
icon
Oh,
or
no,
avatar to
These
represent
are
you. You
cameras
put
attached
in
to
whatever
the
name you
days.
want.
You've got
There
the
you go.
days
Roger
for
is in.
days.
So
That's a good
Roger,
one.
because you were the first
Anyway,
person in,
have
they
fun
gave
with
you
the
this
crabber
little
cans.
VIP status here. So that means you get to say yes when everyone's in. So we're going to wait for Cheyenne and Taz. And
I should
I'm not,
in, right? Oh no, I have to select my agent.
you have to select a little picture to rep you.
I'm gonna be
Hey, Dimitri, you watch
And
the
I'm not
American
sure what happened to
film?
Marie.
Yes, every
So
day. That
we're
show
going to
is
do this
nuts.
round
All
without
the
her for
makeup
now.
and
Okay,
wigs and
now
her
Roger, you
wardrobe
get
is
to.
crazy,
Is
right?
Marie
I
joining
don't
us?
know. I
Yes,
look
yes.
at
Let's see.
metadata. I don't know.
Marie,
from
are
wigs
you
and
here?
makeup. No, Dimitri,
I
only
am.
watch
I
American
apologize.
about
It's
No
just
videos
totally.
worries.
on TV.
It just
But
conked
there's
out.
always
It's
Americans
a
on TV.
line 3
All of them
episode. Of
wear
course it
wigs
did.
now? No,
So
Yeah,
TV
someone has
show.
to
It's
break.
like average
Yeah,
Americans walking
absolutely.
down the street.
it's
What's
on
this
brand
big
for
biscuit?
the profile.
This
So
already, and the
Marie, you
closer
are
it's
going
a
on
heretic
your
game.
phone onto
You even own
whatever
a
browser
television?
you use
No,
and
not since
type
end
in
of Seinfeld.
jackbox.tv.
Okie dokie. Good talking to you.
We want to do this
Yes,
on the
good
phone,
talk.
though, right?
Yes, this part's on your phone because your phone is going to be your controller. And then, Marie, when you got there should be an input form. You're going to put in this code right here with the letters.
Attention Sector 5 interns.
And then
the
as
toilet
soon
pan
as
is in need of
Marie's
cleaning.
in, then Roger, you
clean.
got the button that says everybody's in. So just wait for Marie to join, and then you can say yay. So while she's doing that, the way this game works, it's a data game.
Hey, Sheila,
So
what are
you
doing
are
with those
guessing
classified folders you're leaving in
I think I'm here.
different
These
data.
are
Yep, she's in. So
See, it says
the rest, the game
classified.
will explain
Yeah,
your
because you crossed out
your-
classified.
by
All right,
itself.
so
So
hit
it's
the
pretty
button.
easy.
Yourself with a
So
Sharpie.
yes,
I'm
you
up
can
here, man.
say
I'm hitting
everyone's
buttons.
in.
I'm pushing stuff.
Okay.
There you
See
go,
later.
and I am off.
Hey, your government here. We have been sorta collecting information about all of you. Now, before you get all angry and call your congressperson, let us make it up to you by turning it all into a game that we call Espionage. Off we go.
Oh, no.
Okay, who's first? All right, buckle in. I've got one for you. What percentage of people have spare keys hidden somewhere outside their homes? Give it your best guess. You get more points the closer you come to the actual percentage.
We're gonna guess.
We
Okay.
have an answer.
Oh, you guys saw this.
46%. Okay, everyone else. Time to guess if the actual percentage is higher or lower.
I guess.
Just one of you is saying higher. And the correct answer is 18%. God love these people. It makes our job so much easier. So, who picked lower? Well done. You get points.
Oh wow.
Who's next? I'll bet our database has some juicy data for this.
Oh boy.
What percentage of people have apps on their phones for fast food chains?
I bet you it's so high.
50%. All right, what do you think? Everyone thinks it's higher. Okay, let's see the right answer.
Oh,
22%.
Oh, wow.
It says connected like a Little Caesars phone app.
I don't have any.
Wow, everyone was wrong. Next
I'm
up,
strong at 0, everyone.
we've collected data about everything, even this. What percentage of people have gone on juice cleanses? And if you're in the audience, what? 24%. What do y'all think? Higher or lower? Just one person says lower. Okay, right answer is 7%. And every single one of them talked about it nonstop. Who got it right? Ooh, points for you. Okay, who's up next?
Hi, Dad.
I don't know. How about... What percentage of people are terrible at removing wine corks in one piece? %. Okay, higher or lower? Unanimously higher. And Surveil says 13%. I agree, that number's too low.
What?
It's possible our informants were drunk.
I'm still surprised.
I think they lied. Some people
They must have, yeah.
No one got it right.
I make my husband open them because I can't.
No, I get that.
We made it through round 1. Let's peek at the scores.
Let's not.
Time for round 2.
Sorry, there is
Let's
no
start
round
with you.
2. This was your warm-up game. Yes, we are
That was
exiting.
fun.
Right? Yeah, that's to get you all nice and warmed up.
Oh.
I'm glad you're all nice and warmed up. Now we got to do even more fun. I'm not sure if you've played this game before, but it's really fun and it always manages to make me laugh. So the point of this one is you just put in some answers. I'm not going to say more than that. It is the same, what's the word I'm looking for? Same format as before. Whoever enters first, here's the code this time. So if you should be on the same jackbox.tv and you put in this new code. Oh, see, Taz is the VIP this time. And this one, this is fun for all of you in the audience. Don't do it yet, but the audience can vote for their favorite answers as well. So I think, Taz, you can say everyone's in. And then everyone else in the audience, when that code comes back up again, you can go in. I'm going to do this myself, and I get to vote on how these wonderful guests are doing. So there's the code right there. Alex,
that song
FF,
never
and same
gets old.
website.
Ready for some
Jackbox.tv.
quiplash? Me
Have
too.
fun.
Why, that's enough for a decent rodeo. This is round 1. You'll see 2 prompts on your device. Answer them any way you want. Each answer will go up against someone else's answer, and everyone will vote on which they like most. It's simple. You'll score points based on the percentage of people who prefer your answer. Have at it.
Oh boy. Wow.
I don't know if I did that right.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here at all. But I'm going to start pressing buttons like a good 3-line.
You just got to enter some answer to the question. And
Yeah, like I wasn't sure if.
Why didn't
my
my
hand.
say?
Cheyenne. Was it not working? It
got
worked?
it. No, there was two. I was
Let's
just
see what we
There's
got.
two questions.
First
Yeah.
one, the worst possible misspelling of Zach Galifianakis. Okay, pick your favorite.
Oh, they expose who said what?
Hey, we're
And
tired.
who voted for what?
Next in line, a good use for an old CD tower. Vote on your devices.
We're definitely throwing that frisbee. That's
Yeah,
That's what my kids would do.
That
Next
sounds
on
more
offer,
fun.
the worst place to hide the counterintelligence documents. And vote.
Both are great.
Coming up next, a great thing for a parent to say to scare their child's prom date.
Oh.
Put in your votes.
What are you doing?
That's all for round one. Here's the scoreboard. Now round two, where all points and bonuses are doubled. Oh, the drama. Hurry, hit the safety quit button if you can't think of something.
So we'll just have to wait for the timer to run out. I have no idea where Roger went.
Oh.
Let's see those quips. Starting us off, a weird skill left-handers are better at.
Oh.
Oh.
And next, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Vote away. Moving on, indoor skydiving makes a lot more sense than indoor blank.
Oh, I was really hoping Roger was the one for this.
Indoor sleeping.
I didn't know what to say.
I know, they're kind of odd
The
questions.
worst part about
Right.
being under Dracula's thrall was that he's always making you blank. Ready, set,
Ah.
vote.
That's a good one. Donate blood.
Zion, the comeback this round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is my forte, apparently.
That's all for round 2. Let's see where the points went.
Woohoo!
Round 3 has arrived. The last flash. You're all going to answer the same prompt, so pull out all the stops. Follow these wordlash instructions.
What?
Oh, is it just the one question?
Oh, I guess so. Because it's the last one.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Roger, where did he go?
No, really.
Oh, we got a good one in the chat, Spankomatic. That's a
Oh,
good one.
that's a good
That's
one.
really good. We should vote for that one.
I know nothing about wrestling.
Okay.
Let's see those quips. Each of you has a gold medal to award to your favorite quip. Make your picks now.
I like these.
Delicious. Ink prank.
I like them.
These are good.
Uh,
Oh, it's hard to choose.
yes.
I think the triple spank takedown is hilarious. I don't know whose that was. It's triple. Triple spank. It's not one, not two.
But three.
It's all about the three line. The experience.
The suspense is killing me. Let's see who got those medals. Let's sell off those medals for points.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Okay.
It's over. Let's see the final scores.
Oh, so you won both games today, Cheyenne, right?
No, I did not win the last one at all. I lost.
The bingo.
by-
Not the guessing thing. The bingo.
not the warm up one. Oh, I guess. Cool.
So I'm gonna tell you a funny story. In a previous episode, I can't remember which one it is now because we've done that many profiles. It's all blurring a little bit. But someone was like, the projector always wins at the games. To wonder if
And
that's
this is true for this round. I am the projector.
That's so interesting.
Fascinating.
Right?
Something like that.
So relish in that. We are playing our last game, and thankfully for some of you, it is a cooperative game. So there is no winners. You're all winners if you survive. So this particular game requires some tight teamwork because you are bomb diffusers or bomb disarmers, whatever the proper terminology for that is. So the way this game works is you will all have instructions on your phone. Different people have different pages to the instructions. So you all have to work very closely together to be like, I have page 1, I have page 2, I have page 3. Read it out loud because no one else can see what's on your phone. So you have to be very, very vocal. And they're all like puzzles. So you have to deduce all the clues together to defuse the bomb.
Oh.
Right. So, what was I going to say? There's a timer. So you have to do it within a certain time. And if you don't, you blow up. Any questions?
Naturally. No, let's do it.
The way this one works is you have a set amount of time. So you're trying to see how far or how many things you can diffuse within that time frame. And eventually, if you master this, you get to a point where you are organizing filing cabinets. So you have different names and you have to do it in alpha order. It's all in the instructions. So you have to, again, be very vocal, say everything out loud, and work as a team. Are you ready to test your skills?
Oh my gosh, sure.
And to defuse a bomb.
Go for it.
Okay. Are we like logged in? Because okay, no, never mind.
Yeah, this is your code.
Y.
See, Roger would have been really fun to have on this one.
All right.
Okay, he's saying he has completely lost his internet.
Oh
no.
He says he's trying to get it back. Oh, everyone's in. So whoever has the start button on their phone gets to... There we go. Okay, and then...
This warehouse is full of bombs. Just keep going until you explode.
Bombs.
Endless work. I'm in heaven.
I have page 4.
I have page 3.
I have 1 and 2.
Okay.
So page 1 says cut all white wires. I don't see any white wires.
Okay, what's page 2?
If the bomb was made in 1985, it is treat blue wires as white. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So, how do we cut them?
That I don't know. Does page 3?
Mine says page 4, cut all green wires, and then it says tap buttons to cut wires.
Okay, tap buttons.
Mine says on page 3, if the bomb was made in 2000, treat white wires as blue, which it wasn't. But how do we tap the buttons?
One of you has the buttons. Do it.
I have 1 through 4. So which one are we tapping?
1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
So I tap 1, 2, and 3?
Yeah, because they're blue.
Okay, here we go.
But then you said page 4 also says...
Do the 4th one. Do the 4th.
Oh, duh. It says cut all. I can't read. Page 1,
okay,
cut all.
Go ahead.
Cut all even wires if the bomb was made before 2001.
It was made before 2001. Even would be 2 and 4. But page 2 says do not cut the second wire, even if another ruler says you should. So don't cut number 2.
Okay, and page 3 says to cut all odd wires if the bomb was made after 1982, which it was.
Okay, so we do 1, 3, and 4.
Yeah.
1, 3, 4. Okay.
Nice. Okay, page 1 says only intern Marie can cut wires next to white wires.
It says page 2, do not cut the 5th wire even if other rules say that you should.
Okay, page 3 says cut all black wires that are next to green wires, which we don't have, Page 4 says cut all wires that are not the first or the fourth. So cut
Okay,
2,
so
3, and
second and
4.
third.
2, 3,
So
and
2 and 3.
Oh, yes!
Very
Good
good.
job. We had like 2 seconds left.
Oh my god.
Okay,
Who's got
page
page
1
one?
says cut all red wires. And page 2 says do not cut the first wire even if it's red. So 2, 3, and 4.
Cut the fourth wire, it says. So that one we cut.
Okay, they cut blue wires only if they are not the third wire. Do not cut any other blue wires. Okay, that's it.
Nice.
Woo. Is this getting harder?
I think
Yes.
the timer is not resetting.
Dang.
It says sort by last name from A to Z. I have Paulo Zapper.
I have
Georgia
Grace,
Stanton.
Oliver, and Vinny.
Sort by I'm S. Stanton.
So G first?
G, yep.
G, okay.
P.
I'm S. Go P and then
Okay,
S.
P. Ah! Sorry.
We did so good though.
I wasn't fast enough. I was like, who's next? Should have filed Vinny.
Okay, 4 bombs
4
diffused.
bombs. High score was 5. That's not bad. That's not bad.
So yes, definitely try again. We want to see how far you get. That was your warm up.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Retry.
Oh, wow.
All right, let's get it, lady. Page 1, do not cut wire 2 even if page 3 says that you should.
Page 3 or page 2. Page 3 is supposed to say even instead of odd.
Ooh.
Cut all odd numbered wires.
So it's
Even
cut all even. But what did number 1 say?
Don't cut wire 2.
Okay, so 4.
So
Just
1 and 3.
No, just 4.
No, just 4.
Oh, just 4.
Yeah.
Somebody's got it on their phone.
Oh,
I
I
don't.
don't have the button.
Okay.
That was weird.
Okay, page 1. Cut the third wire if it is red, which it is.
Okay.
Okay, cut the first wire if it is green, which it is.
And
Okay.
second wire if it's white. So cut all 3. Cut all 3.
Yep.
Sort by last name from A to
I got
Z.
A.
I'm T.
Ah!
We're going so fast.
Last name.
Right. Bummer.
Dang. Dang.
I say third time the charm. Maybe
All
Roger
right.
will show up.
You did worse. Okay. I'm page 3.
Do not cut the third wire, even if it is yellow.
Cut the first wire if it's green. It's not.
Cut all yellow wires. So just cut 2.
Yes.
Okay, if there's a red wire present, cut the third wire.
Okay. If there's a green wire
Yes.
present, cut the first wire.
Okay, so 1 and 3.
Yeah.
No, it says, page 3 says, if there's a black wire present, cut the fourth wire.
So 1, 3, and 4.
So 1, 3, and 4. Sort by last name from A to Z. I'm N.
Okay, I'm
K.
J and O.
What?
So J,
Mm-hmm.
go J. I've got K.
Okay. O. Nice.
Finally.
Woo. Okay, page 1. Do not let intern Marie cut yellow wires. Okay.
Okay.
Do not let intern Taz cut green wires.
Okay.
Okay. But page 4,
3,
do not
cut
let
all
wires
wires.
cut white wires.
Who doesn't
What
go?
is,
I have the thing, but it says
so do I.
let Marie. So I cut it.
I think you
Yes.
should cut all wires. No one's saying anything about you. So
Do not cut. It says do not let intern Taz cut green wires. That's page 2.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
but-
Cheyenne, no, she doesn't have a restriction. And page 3 says cut all wires. So I think Cheyenne.
Okay.
should cut them all.
Okay.
Okay. Page 1,
Who's
cut
got
all
one?
yellow wires that are even numbered and all blue wires that are odd numbered.
Okay, so 2 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Do not cut wires that are next to green wires, even if another rule says that you should.
Okay.
But there's no green.
Page 3 says cut wire 1.
So 1, 2, and 4.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing great, guys. This is
Joe Jig said.
Last name, Sort by last name. I have R and T.
I'm P.
Okay, I'm putting E first.
Okay, E first. PQR.
So P. Whoever's got P.
Oh, I'm P.
R and T.
Nice.
High five, you guys. We're doing
Woo!
Yeah. Okay. Do not cut even wires, even if other rules say that you should. Okay.
Okay, if the first wire needs to be cut, then also cut all yellow wires.
Okay.
If the third wire needs to be cut, then also cut all blue wires. So what was the first rule?
Do not cut even wires. even
Wait,
if-
also, if page 2 mentions yellow wires, which it does, cut the fourth and third wires. Otherwise, cut the second and first wires.
Fuck. What did page 2 say?
It mentioned yellow wires. So, according to page 4, we should be cutting the fourth and third wires.
Okay. Do it.
3 and 4?
Yeah.
Yep.
Just. Oh. No. Okay.
We beat the high score though. That's all that matters.
Okay.
1 and 3 we were supposed to cut. Even if other rules say that you should. That's why I was not sure
So,
either.
ladies,
but yeah,
I
there's too many
have
rules on that
great
one.
news to tell you. You have broken the previous record. The previous record was held by the 2 4s. You have crushed it.
Let's go 3 5.
So stay tuned, audience, for the rest of the profile episodes to see which profile can, if they can, take the 3-5 spot. I am quite impressed. That was amazing. All of us were like holding on, like, come on, crush it. That was riveting to watch you all. An absolute treat. So thank you for agreeing to even doing this. Most people are like, why are we doing this? But it was a delight. And also, Projector, you were like guiding the things. I don't even know if you noticed this, the 2 generators. Like, she was beautifully guiding you. It was
No,
like,
I agree.
Yes,
I was like,
yes.
thank you, Cheyenne, for catching on to whatever needs to be caught on to and like
Oh,
driving.
it was so good. Amazing. So again, please tell everybody where they can find you, and thank you. That was an absolute delight to host you all.
Thank you. This was so
Thank
fun.
you for doing this. It was absolutely a whole lot of fun. I appreciate
I loved
this.
it. This was so awesome. Thank you, Moana, for putting this together.
My pleasure is all mine. But yes, I will pop off. So introduce yourselves. I mean, like whatever you want to say to the audience, to each other. Now you have a 3-5 gang. Please do keep in touch. Be friends.
Yes.
That is my 4 talking.
Absolutely love it.
Yes.
I'm trying to send in my.
And it's not working, right?
It's not working. Yeah.
It
It's
says failed. Yeah, to post.
Yeah.
It might be me that has to do it. So whatever you want to put it in the chat, and then I'll copy and
In the
paste it
private
over.
chat? Okay. So just TikTok and IG for me. Yeah, if folks want to learn more about breath work, or if you're moving through something in life and you feel like you just need extra support, like even if you're in therapy, I have so many clients that are like, doing breath work helped me deepen in therapy. Hit me up. I'd love to support you.
I love that.
Beautiful.
I might hit you up, Cheyenne. Yeah, no, this was very wonderful. Anyone who is watching, please connect with the Hustle Legacy. Check out my website. Check out the content. Let me know if it's resonated with you, if it sparked anything on your journey. And yeah.
Definitely will check you out, Taz. I love talking to all of you. It was
Yeah,
this was a lot of fun.
I would
and
love
appreciate it.
for like us 3-5s to have like a little 3-5 gang going on.
Hey.
I love the conversations that
Gang,
were going
gang.
on with all of us.
It was awesome. I honestly have never had an intentional conversation like this with like other, let's have a 3-5 based
Right.
conversation. And it was so illuminating. I learned so much.
No, I agree.
Yes.
I think that was super cool. I almost wish I'm so new to human design that I want to do this again when I'm more informed on my own human design and like the gates, the channels, all that good stuff. So, because this was super cool.
It's a lot. Human design is a lot. I've been 2.5 years, and even some of the stuff that they were talking about earlier, I was like, I don't understand nodes, and I don't know what you mean in this house. I'm like, what?
So I feel that. I feel like Roger was great because he definitely was the one that was more educated
Yes.
on human design. So he was able to bring those components back into the conversation. So we balanced each other out, all of us.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Moana.
Thank you
Thank
for
you
coming.
for
This
inviting
was
us.
this was a delight. We would love to have you back on a future episode where it's just you by yourselves. Maybe one day I will do something like this again, but for now I'm like, oh my god, how many more profiles do we have left to go? Oh, manifestor tired. But I will remain perky until we're done. I will try. But with that, I bid you ladies adieu. I will put the links of where you can find these amazing 3-5 friends in the chat if you'd like to connect with them. I highly suggest you do because they're all amazing. And have a wonderful night. And we are going into our transit report. So again, feel free to stay, go, whatever your heart desires.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice.
All right, tag team.
Hello,
I'm out.
Here
Hello,
we go.
Danny.
We're doing the
Yay.
thing. I have my book open. We're going to do the transit weather report. So we should just remind everyone, why are we even doing this? So the sun and the earth move through each gate, about 6 days in each gate, a little more, a little less. And it casts its energy upon earth. So if you don't have those gates in your body graph, now you do for a week, for 6 days. And if you have them in there, then it lights up through harmonies and various other things. So you can expect some of this energy in your life currently. How's that, Moni? That basically.
Great. That was super great. And it was also very nicely calming for me. I feel like this has definitely been a very big 3-5 crazy things.
Yeah, and you guys broke our record, man. I'm like, what, man? My open ego is like, what?
It's fun watching them. It's super fun watching the different types played out.
Of course, and of course they actually nailed it, dude. You guys are the adaptive ones. It's just, they did the thing. Proof's in the pudding. Love it. So yeah, let's do this thing.
Let's do it. Cool. So for this week, July 1st through July 6th, the sun is going to be in gate 39 and the earth is in gate 38.
There you go.
Yeah.
38 and 39. The provocateur is 39 and the fighter is 38. And 39 we'll get into in a minute, but it's got this really good thing. It's called provocation. And then basically the fighter, which is opposition.
Absolutely. Can we get to the next slide?
Yep.
There we go. So here we can see it on the wheel. As Danny was saying, the sun in gate 39 is provocation. And you can see that on the bottom right. And then you can see it on the top left more so than the earth is in gate 38. And so if you've been following along, we're just continuing along, going counterclockwise around the wheel. And it's fun too, because last week they were both gates were in the root center. And this week they're also in the root center, and they're actually just directly opposite one another, which I thought was kind of fun.
Yeah, and they're going to be in the root center one more time. So I think, yep, it looks like it. So 39. Oh, you're going to read this.
Yeah, I'll read this one. So we got the sun in gate 39, right? So this is this energy of obstruction, of provocation, the value of obstruction in provoking analysis, assessment, and reevaluation. As we said, it's a root gate. It's part of the individual circuitry, which anytime we hear individual, you think empowerment, specifically part of the knowing circuit. The gate 39 connects into gate 55, which is the energy of abundance, it's spirit. And that channel together, the 3955, is the channel of emoting. So the gate 39 is the pressure to provoke the evolving emotional awareness of spirit into revealing itself. Provocation that reveals whose spirit is correct for you.
I love this gate, and it's got 38 and 39 both have archetypes in the 5th line. I noticed as I glanced at it, this this basic obstruction, that what it's doing is it's deciding literally how will it poke at the 55? And the 55 relies on it poking so it can see its own spirit and the 39 and the spirit in the 39 as well. But the archetypes were in the 5th line, this thing just literally will circumvent the obstruction. And in the 1st line, it's about taking assessment. 38, 39 was disengagement. It's the energy to provoke by refusing to confront. So the foundation of this is like, I'm not even going to say anything. And that's a provocation. What? You're not going to say anything? Don't you have anything to say? Nope. That's the provocation. So I
It's so pokey. Gate 39, I have 55 as my Earth, or not my Earth, as my moon. And I definitely find 39 to just be like super poking. It's like, leave me alone. Stop poking
they
at
attract
me.
into you. Do you notice that's an electromagnetic? Is that an attractor field? Not all electromagnetics are like high grade traction fields. Some of them are more,
Yeah, I mean, it could definitely find me, but it's just like, leave me alone, because it just feels like this pokey energy. And like learning of like, okay, there's something to learn here. Just roll with it. Like, how can I like respond in the right way to know that it's provoking me into something positive, into some kind of learning and growth?
That's so funny. I love it. Cool. Moving
Yeah.
on. 38.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Earth in gate 38. This is opposition. This is the gate of the fighter. The ability to preserve individual integrity through opposition to detrimental forces. Again, it's a root gate. It's part of the individual circuitry, which keynote to empowerment. It's part of the knowing circuit. So these are both part of that individual knowing circuitry, which is also really interesting. It links up with gate 28, which is the gate of the great game player. And then the 3828 is the channel of struggle. So the gate 38 exerts pressure to discover the value of one's own life, determination to persevere, empowering us to discern for ourselves which individuating struggles have value or not.
I love the heading in the book for 38. It's this ability to persevere through individual integrity through opposition to. So basically, it's looking for the detrimental force in order to oppose it. And it's not necessarily out hunting for it, but think about it. The fight for purpose in gate 28 is a splenic gate, aware of purpose. It pulls the rest of integration into being aware that there's a struggle for purpose. And in the stubbornness of the energy that gets given by gate 38, the whole channel is allowed to literally withhold and or get out and fight. It's both. The fight is just like on the other side, withholding, stepping back, or getting out and actually, doing the thing to make sure it happens. 38 likes to come out swinging. And it's not with fists, it's just swinging with energy. It's like, we're going to get just what you said, that perseverance to try to get through the thing.
Yeah, I find it really interesting that it's these energies that are in the background frequency for like the 4th of July, right? Of just like, no, this is a detrimental force. I'm going to oppose it. We're going to provoke it, right? We're going to like declare that independence from King George, right? I find that super fascinating. And then also it's interesting, right? Because then we'll see these gates again in the flip side at New Year's. So New Year's Eve has that similar provocational, fighty kind of a little tight energy. And I think that's really interesting, like the background frequencies that we can look at with like different holidays too.
Yeah, and so this week, as this stuff is going on, I think we'll talk about that in the next slide, but you'll have the provocateur and the fighter, and it will be with you. So there will be times when this root energy, which is adrenaline, will make you want to step into the arena, I guess, would be how that would read. That's how the person would experience that. Go with it. Find out what's there.
So good.
Yep.
So next up, we have the incarnation crosses for the week. So people born around this time or new little babies coming onto the planet, they'll have the right angle cross of tension. People whose energy must move outward to release tension by provoking talent, leadership, purpose, and spirit in others. There are great button pushers.
That's funny.
Right? Then once we move into the 4-1 profile, that'll be the juxtaposition cross of provocation. Potent yet moody individuals who use shock to provoke others at a deep level. People who understand the creative value of their melancholy. And then when
Oh, I can see that.
and then we'll be going on to the left angle cross of individualism. It's mutative forces that shock you with their intuitive knowing and staunch individualism, but are not easily influenced themselves.
No, they're not. I know a young man, he's in his teens now with this with that left angle cross of individualism as his cross. So weather report wise, what does this mean to our planet? What does this mean to the people that they can sort of take along with all of this? Because with these two gates there, this will cause the route to be way more defined than it normally is. So then this is a time when, just generally speaking, there is a defined route more than there would have been. Like, noticeably more. And the defined route handles the pressure. Live inside the pressure field that gets to know when it will get into the ring or not, because this getting into the ring is a big deal. Is that a good analogy, getting into the ring? I want to
I think
make
that's
sure
great. No, I
don't-
think that's great. That like definitely struck me in a really like poignant way. Absolutely.
because that's what this thing is doing. And now you get to choose with awareness that you're stepping through those ropes and choosing to go in, and the struggle that will ensue will suit the purposes of finding the spirit of literally the spirit of what the purpose is you're looking for. That this is in opposition and that this is a cross and that it's called tension says that to find the spirit and to get to the purpose of things, there's going to be some tension. I mean, it almost sounds like a fifth line heretic all the way through, right? Because it's always creating tension, always bringing something new and mutative. Something new and mutative will come out of you this week if you let it, and you'll get to watch it because it will bring you into a ring. It will fill the spirit, and it will be filled with various, snipey types of provocations. Allow it. Oh yeah, well you suck. I mean? If it comes out of your mouth, let it. That's or the opposite. A provocation is very often a compliment because it provokes the other to see if they like that, if they like the way it came from the other. So the provocation is both. It's not just provoking someone to be, sort of a dick about it. It's although that can, if that starts happening a little bit, just notice you're a little compelled to do that, and you'll find out something on the other side.
Yeah,
You will
absolutely.
something on the other side, but let these two gates sink in through the root pressure, the pressure to move, and that pressure now is in the world more, such that you'll notice a defined route deals with the pressure in a steadier kind of way. So don't be surprised when you're amazed that, hey, you're sort of dealing with the pressure at the same time that you're stepping in to do the thing, whatever it is. And then don't be surprised when it leaves as well. Just this was here for this time. It'll come back around New Year's, so like the
Yeah.
Monia thing. So
Yeah, and be extra careful, especially driving. I notice definitely when we're in this time and the New Year's time, it's just like be extra careful driving. There might be people who are driving a little crazy and not paying attention, a little extra zippy and fighty and oppositional and provocational. So be careful. Be careful tomorrow on the holiday, and everyone be safe.
one other thing then to come along with this in partners, in the other, even in yourself, it is, remember, part of the root of provocation is to just say nothing, right? The stubbornness on both sides of this, and the fact that it's in the knowing circuitry, these guys are, and this week, the world may be a little bit deaf to the other as it relates to what they feel like provoking, what they feel like struggling for, what they feel like looking at for the purpose of this, and to give meaning making, the fight and struggle for meaning making. I mean, that's what this is. And there'll be times both these channels are deaf to the other. Not fully, but it's just that it's a thing. So if your husband or wife isn't listening, just wait a few days, okay? Not personal.
That's some good advice.
Yeah, that's some good advice.
Perfect. So July 1st through July 6th, the sun will be in gate 39, provocation, and the earth will be in gate 38, which is opposition. And here we have the hexagrams for each of these gates from the I Ching. And I thought this was super, super fun, because if you look at the sun in 39, this provocation, then it's water over mountain. right? And so it's like there's clouds going over the mountain, and there's gonna be storms, and then those storms will turn into water that will then like go around the mountain. So the mountain is like that provocational thing, that thing that just like pops up, that's like, I was going this way and now something just like bumped into you. And then to have that be like water, right? To like allow that like storm to come and then turn into water and go around the mountain.
Mhm.
Right?
We like, yep.
I know. I'm loving diving into the hexagrams with you. It makes me very happy. And then on the flip side, we have 38, which is opposition, and it's fire over lake. So it's fire over water, right? And understanding that like we need that opposition in life, and there's things that are meant to harmonize and blend, and there are things that are meant to separate, and like knowing what is appropriate and like honoring that difference, because it's that difference that like allows either to exist in its fullness. If like the lake and the fire completely melded, then it would just be steam and neither would exist anymore. So knowing and understanding that like appropriate relationship with the other and with opposition.
They need each other. They need each other and they need to stay separate. So it's a bit about separation.
Yeah. It's like
And
the
the fighter,
perfect yin yang.
yeah, and the fighter will choose to separate from the other. That was the fifth line. The fifth line was sort of separation, going it alone. So as we go through the lines this week, you won't always hear the expression of the other because you're busy with your own mutative, unique struggle. You will hear the other struggle at times on the other side of that, and you'll choose to be part of it or not. At very least, you'll recognize there's a ability to deal with the pressure just sort of differently, because the root is defined in the world, I would say, about 20% more than it normally would be, or 15% more. So the likelihood of that being in your life goes up. Deal with the pressure, jump into the thing. Damn the torpedoes full speed ahead. 38's looking at the game player, you know what I mean? And 39's looking at the spirit of the self, our own internal measurement of our cup being full or not. And so take those keynotes with you. You'll know the provocation of the fight was right as the spirit fills up and your cup runneth over, because the purpose is being found. Let that be. Let that be. I like it.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm done.
Little cherry on top.
Yeah, something like that. Kaboom. So yeah, there's the weather report, people. We call it weather because it's the neutrino weather forecast, and just next week it'll be something else.
Whoop, whoop. I still feel like a noob. I'm trying to understand some of it, plans, and most of it's like, I still need to learn so much more.
Yeah, that's how it goes though. Like I wouldn't have understood this when I was like where you're at. You pick up the things that like do stick, and then like it builds on itself, and you're gonna pick up the things that are gonna be relevant to you. The stuff that's like not relevant to you, like you don't need to listen to that.
But yes, I'm trying to learn through osmosis. I'm sure there's other people in the like, if I hang around these wise people long enough, I will get some of it for myself. At least that's the thought, right? Always surround yourself with people that you aspire to be.
Moana, the thing is, you're busy breaking ground for this incredible thing. And so the osmosis is going to have to do for now. And then as soon as the fevered pitch sort of slows down, I'm guessing you'll come in for more of a landing, and then more stuff will get known, just generally speaking. It'll be perfect.
Amazing. Well, I would not be here without either of you. We all should be super grateful that we have such amazing co-hosts to make the show even happen in the first place. So big shout out, big love to Moni, to Danny, to all of our wonderful guests that come on and agree to do this thing. Like, that's a giant chunk of their time that they're giving up to spend with us. So very, very grateful that they choose to spend it with us and share their experiences and their insights. Yes, it's just amazing.
And just the moderator.
And just the moderator. Yeah, she I don't think she's here today, but she's usually here with us.
Grateful for her anyway.
Right. And of course our viewers, right? We wouldn't be doing this. I mean, we would probably be still doing this. Nobody watched. To be honest.
That was classic. That was classic. Yeah.
What? You said the quiet part out loud.
Right, but we do appreciate our viewers. So if you are new to these parts of Twitch or YouTube, please do give us a follow. It shows us that oh, we are getting a volunteer who wants to be a mod. Yes, stay too
Yay.
curious. If you want to join in every week, we would love to have you.
Absolutely.
What was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. I'm so
Like,
excited.
subscribe, share, do the things.
Yes, like, subscribe, share, do the things. Yes. And what else? Next week, we are back into our harmonic profiles and we're doing the 3 6s.
Yep.
That one's gonna be fun.
They were very hard to wrangle. So fingers crossed that they actually show up. And it's going to be a good time. And then after next week, to inform everyone, so you have lots of notice, we are going on break. We are going on a little bit of a
19th.
breather. Yeah, so it's not next week, but the week after. We're going on a break before we come back on with the 4 6s, but we're going to come on an hour earlier. So anyone wants to catch
We'll
the
get-
4 6s, we will be on an hour earlier. But with that, we will see you next week for the
Regular
3
time.
6s. Regular time. Danny, do you have any closing remarks before we bid everybody
It's
adieu?
just so good. I already told Moni my only remark is I'm still stuck in. Wait a minute, they beat our record.
This will be fun to see who comes out on top at the end. But Moni did say something very, very wise, which was I wasn't giving enough instruction.
Earlier
So
and
I did change that, so it wasn't completely leveled playing ground. But
It was pretty lovely.
but it works out though, because it's even by the time we get to the 3-5, they're like, oh, okay, I bumped into enough things.
Dude, they're
So let me
adaptive.
give a bit more and like share that. So
They are the mutative adaptive changing ground, that third line, and it was no surprise when I saw them, when I heard their busy chatter actually getting along and making it all, I was like, this is just not a surprise. No surprise. So
right, it was beautiful. But yes, same time next week, friends. Thank you, and we will bring you the 3 6s. Cheerio.
cheerio, everyone.